Once again, Claude Akins.
Welcome to the Hartford Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, and the Ford Budweiser United States Hot Rod Association Truck Pull Winter Championships, featuring the Battle of the Monster Trucks, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers and proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bob Kurtz. Along with Mike Gallaway, we have a great evening of competition for you. Four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, monster trucks, and the Budweiser boss. So there's a lot to look at tonight, Mike.
Going to be some good competition. Track's a little soft, but I think it's going to work real well. I believe the bite's going to be there. Good class of four-wheel drive modified trucks, some outstanding two-wheel drive trucks. A couple of them are going to be the top contenders here tonight, and then, of course, the Battle of the Monster Trucks, and we'll finish up with Gary Collins and when he comes storming with the Budweiser boss.
Well, you talk about the monster trucks, the king of the monster trucks, Bigfoot is here.
The Foot's here, and it's a new one. It's just one they've just completed. It's got a lot of different changes in it. We'll talk about that a little later on.
And a little bit about Gary Collins.
Well, Gary Collins, the incredible Budweiser boss, the twin supercharged him. He's probably the most powerful four-wheel drive truck in America. He's tough, as always.
And he'll roar down this 150-foot track here at the Hartford Civic Center. Sounds like a great evening, so stay with us.
Cubic inch with a 604 cubic inch fuel-injected Chevrolet. And Paul's been on the circuit for quite some time. He's a good puller. I've seen him hook a number of times, and he's always there. Right now, the subject is, can you dial in and get a hold of the track, get enough traction to propel it down to the end? Let's see what Bob does.
Gone AWOL has gone for the distance, and the Shadow has pulled it 160 feet. Hog Wild has that in his sight.
Slacks out of the chain, no jerk start. Let's see what happens to Hog Wild. Look at the box, moving up on it. Good up.
Well, some ease into it, and some just let her rip, and Hog Wild let her rip.
He did, and it worked for him tonight, Bob. It did. He hooked up well. You know, it left good. I thought it was an extremely good pull for that truck. And as you mentioned, he doesn't waste any time right out of the hole. Just ease a little bit and then goes wide open.
I mentioned here, Mike, about the weight transmission. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow you go.
Makes no difference if you could go 40 miles an hour or 4 miles an hour. That box will be in the same spot at the 160-foot mark, no matter which speed you're at.
Well, he misses by just 1 foot, 5.5 inches of going the distance. So Hog Wild is now in third place. Missed the full pull, not by much. Well, we have four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, and exhibition competition all going on here at Hartford, Connecticut. And there's one family that has the vehicle in each one of them. Mike Gallaway takes a look.
Thanks, Bob. Well, I'm with Pam Bauman and Bob Bauman, and they drive a number of vehicles. Got 3 of them on hand tonight. You've got a 4-wheel drive, a 2-wheel drive, and then you've got an exhibition dragster. Keeps you fairly busy, doesn't it, Bob?
Yes, it certainly does, keeping 3 of them clean and repaired.
Pam, what about you? In the 4-wheel drive, you've done rather well. You like it?
I love it.
How did you get involved with pulling? You've got all the vehicles now, and you've had to start somewhere.
I started out with Yellow Fever, and I just, SRO come out with a 2-wheel drive class. I decided to build a 2-wheel drive, and then I liked the exhibition class, and I built a rail.
Do you want to drive the rail, Pam?
I would.
You'd like that?
Oh, yes, I would.
What about the 2-wheel drive, Bob? You've driven both of them. You've driven the rail. There's a lot of difference in the competition, a lot of difference in the way you drive the 2-wheel to the 4-wheel.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. The 2-wheel drive has a much bigger motor, and you have to not get on the throttle quite as hard as you do the rail.
Now, tonight on this track, is it going to be a situation where you ease the sled out of the hole and then go for the throttle?
Definitely. Ease the sled out of the hole, then gradually get into it, and then about 100 feet, get right on the throttle.
We're going to watch these people. They're going to be very, very busy tonight. The Bauman.
Another truck we have seen at shows all over the country. Pontiac. Here in Hartford, Yellow Fever.
Watch the truck body, Bob. A lot of them have flip-tops. Pam Bauman and her crew have put it on a scissor lift the body completely up, clears the cab, and there sits Pam on the inside of the truck. Kind of like an elevator on the ride up. Very quaint setup, Century Oil and Grease sponsorship on this truck, as many of the other Bauman pulling vehicles. And we talked earlier, they have 3 of them in competition. But Pam taking over the chores on the 4-wheel drive, and I tell you what, she is excellent He's got a good sense of the track, does a fine job of controlling the truck. He's always a competitor that the guys have to deal with.
Spends a lot of time on the road. I know we saw her at the Indiana State Fair show last year in Indianapolis.
Pam and Bob travel a tremendous amount, and they are in the busing business. They own and lease out school buses in the Saxonburg area. A big injected Chevrolet motor.
Now, what kind of chance does she have of going the distance?
I'd say Pam's got a good chance. Her number's a little late, but I think the track is staying together enough that we can see Pam with a possibility of forcing it into the pull-off.
The order that you go in these events, the order that you pull, predetermined or by the luck of the draw?
By the luck of the draw. When you come in to register and sign up for the night's competition, you'll draw a number out of the pot, and that's the number you'll go to the sled with.
So, Yellow Fever, Pam Bauman, all set to go.
She can do it, Bob.
Nice run, but not quite.
Excellent job for Pam. Just a real fine pull, all in all. But I think the number may have hurt her a little bit.
What do you mean by that?
I think that the later part of the class, the track may not be quite as good as it was earlier. And I think the number may have hurt Pam on this, the track conditions. See the tires break loose real quick. She's got a good ground speed. The truck's going at a good rate of speed. But right on the end, they're all ending up at about the same 157 area, and the track's real loose there. It's breaking up. There's not enough traction to put you past that. You need the ground speed to kind of float over the top of that 150 area.
Bob Kurtz, Mike Gallaway. We have the pull-off now, a four-way tie. And we'll see which one of these modified four-wheel drive trucks emerges as our winter national champion here in Hartford tonight.
Here's the young man that I would venture to say is the man to beat. Gene Fanny, the M715 Jeep with the 512 motor. He and the Shadow, both of them running real close together. Both of them making good hooks. I'd say those are the two dominant ones to watch in the pull-off.
Now they have readjusted the weight transfer machine.
The box will go up the ramp, Bob, much faster this time, transferring it from a rolling weight to a dragging weight, making it harder to pull, stopping it within the limits of the 160-foot track.
So Gene Fanny in going AWOL has hooked in the sled, and he will be the first to pull.
Black out of the chain, tight chain. Let's see how he attacks the track.
Very close to a full pull in the pull-off.
I think what they'll do, Bob, the trucks are hooking up real well. I don't think we're going to see another full pull. I think we're going to see them measure them from here on out.
Well, Gone AWOL goes 158 feet 11 inches. Comes up just a foot and an inch shy of that 160-foot mark, and that's after a readjusted sled. So it's going to be very difficult for the other three competitors to match that. Well, the Shadow has its work cut out for it. 158 feet 11 inches is the mark to beat. A good first run for Mike Slater. We'll see whether he can do it again. There's a strong pull, and here comes the Shadow.
Good shot of Mike. He's got it hooked this time.
Blast that one out, but it's not 158 feet 11 inches, so Gone AWOL will still have the lead.
Starting line problems on Mike and his truck as he slips off his shoulder harness and removes his racing helmet. Starting line wasn't good to him on that pass.
Now the Shadow comes in at 151 feet 1 3/4 inches, well shy of the 158-foot mark, 11 inches. Gone AWOL still sits in the lead. Number 3 in the pull-off is the Stopper 84 Chevrolet, driven by Bob King, Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. He battled it all the way.
Bobby just nailed the throttle off the starting line. We've mentioned before the starting line running up. It's soft. It's not working real well. And I think that is the key to this pull. It really hurt Bob. Immediately on the throttle. Now right here, he never gets enough momentum to build any ground speed. And as you mentioned, he just absolutely has to grind for every foot he gets going down the track. Qualified for the pull-off in fine style, but when he came back in the pull-off, it really hurt him. The starting line, the whole shot just wasn't there for Bob.
Stopper at 120 feet, 2 1/4 inches. One last shot and gone AWOL, and it belongs to the Bear, Gary Firmstone, Mount Pleasant, PA.
He's a very consistent puller, Bob. Just always runs right with the pack. Very good driver, runs the track, studies it well. Let's see how he works tonight.
Well, he eased into it, tried the left side of the track, and it didn't work.
Found out it wasn't worth it. Bob, on the starting line area, the track is rutted up so bad, and what they're doing is coming out of it in that rutted area. It's soft dirt there. There's no traction at all, and he cannot get enough ground speed to go on down. Now, there's a good shot of that starting line area. Let's watch him now. A good driver. This young man, Firmstone, very good. Mashes the motor. The tires will not hook. He can't get any ground speed with it. He just fights it. He finally, about the 120-foot mark, just gives up on it. Says it's not going to reach tonight. There's no need of hurting the motor any more than we've already done it. Right in here, you're going to watch Gene Fanny just back out of it completely. Call it a night, 4th place. Let's save the motor and try to run again next week.
Well, Gary Firmstone and the Bear comes in 4th, and there's the winner, gone AWOL. Gene Fanny is our winner champion here in Hartford, Connecticut. And the Ford Budweiser United States Hot Rod Association Truck Pull Winter Championship, featuring the Battle of the Monster Trucks, brought to you by Rizlone Engine Treatment. Keep your internal engine parts clean. Kendall Oil, the exclusive choice for many of the nation's top truck and tractor pull competitors. It's the exhibition portion of the program here at the Hartford Civic Center. Alan Gaines in the Midnight Express.
Bob Kurtz, this is a very unusual vehicle in that it is a 4-wheel drive, wheel-standing truck. The 2 rear wheels on each side on the back is where the 4-wheel drive comes in. Twin-blown, big block Chevrolet setting out front. A long 1923 model Ford C-Cab. And Bob, this truck is all metal and the body is almost totally original. Alan found the truck setting in a barn near his home in Georgetown, Kentucky, where he purchased it. There's the whistle. Watch the front end as he gets ready to go with it. A wheel-standing 4-wheel drive, count about 1,500 horsepower, or makes that 1,500 horsepower a piece out of the engine, close to 3,000 horsepower.
Just blows it right out the back door.
Front end straight up in the air, all 4 tires on the back, hooked, and Alan mashed the throttle.
Midnight Express, Alan Gaines.
Front end comes up immediately. Look at all 4 tires hooked very hard in the back. Now, Bob, I've ridden in this truck, and the noise sensation is unbelievable inside of it. Look at the shake off of it. It really hooked in hard, and Alan Gaines, a fine driver, does an excellent job. Makes a beautiful exhibition pass with that truck, and it is always exciting to see.
The Budweiser Adventure, and you're looking at Gary Collins from El Dorado Springs, Missouri, in a 1988 Mustang. Gary travels all over the country, works just about every weekend. We've seen him at most of the shows we do. This combined with the Bud Boss.
This is part of the new pulling team for the Budweiser Boss pulling team. This is a new funny car, a beautiful vehicle, supercharged, all aluminum, Keith black Hemi setting underneath that fiberglass body. Gary Collins, always a tough competitor. He'll make a wheels-up pass down the track with this one, and it will bark to life. Gary is a fine driver, just an all-around good guy. We'll see him a little bit later on when he comes with that twin-motored Budweiser Boss. Black out of the chain. Bob Kurtz, Gary, and the Budweiser Avenger really made an exciting pass down the track with the front end in the air. The car was hooked all the way around. The weight box was putting the weight on the top of it. It was a tremendous pass for the beautiful Ford Mustang of Gary Collins. Let's watch him. He turns it loose right out of the hole, and when he does, Gary has got enough traction and enough power to lift the front end in the air and run with that sled down the track. Look at him. Front end up in the air. Only way to guide it's with the individual. Beautiful job as Gary Collins makes a full pull in the Budweiser Avenger.
Well, we saw Pam Bauman in the four-wheel drive competition. This is husband Bob, and that's Pam out front.
This is something brand new that the United States Hot Rod Association is developing. There's about 3 of these dragsters out on the circuit right now. This one with a big aluminum Rodeck in the back of it. Bob and Pam Bauman out of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. The fully enclosed body, Lexan type bubble setting out in front of Bob. Very long, stretched out dragster. Smoked them right on the end.
That's a display of power.
Beautiful job of driving. The fans just loving it tonight. All right. Little trouble getting off of it. Then really throttles down. Front end is up in the air, and he is doing a great job. This is a beautiful car. A lot of time, a lot of work. Look at the front end, how high Bob's got it up in the air. And really controlling it well. Touches the ground back up again. He's an outstanding. Bob Bauman, those people are really into the sport of pulling.
Inspecting the engine.
Starts it off in the two-wheel drive class.
Steel City Shaker getting it started with the two-wheel drive competition, and for a two-wheel drive truck, I know they've machine, but that's a good pull.
They have redone it and made it heavier. They've added 2,000 pounds to the pan so that they'll get a little bit better bite. This young man's only 16 years of age. He is started out early. It's his father's truck. He's doing a great job. He's really into the sport. He's going to be one of the young premier pullers in America coming up very soon.
The Steel City Shaker.
Let's watch Dave as he leaves with the sled, easing into it a little bit, trying to get a little ground speed before he hammers the motor. Now he's into it about 25, 30 feet out. When he does, he could be a little bit heavy. The front end doesn't get up in the air like it should. A little bit nose heavy on it. It just wouldn't get the power transferred to the rear wheels to make a successful pull of a full pull. It's an excellent job for that young man.
For the Steel City Shaker, it's 145 feet, 5.5 inches. Bob Kurtz, Mike Gallaway, the Civic Center, Hartford, Connecticut, two-wheel drive competition. You're looking at the orange flop inspection.
Bob, I think he's got a...
Mike, we're looking at a truck here that very well could win this competition. I would say this would probably be the favorite of this class.
That's true, Bob.
Alan Gaines.
Georgetown, Kentucky, kind of the father in the two-wheel drive class. Built one of them years ago before they were ever a class. and he is a very strong competitor. The inside of this truck, Bob Kurtz, completely original. They took out one bucket seat, still has all the air conditioner controls, the AM, FM stereo. Let's see how he leads the pack.
Full pull for the Orange Blossom Special.
Well, Bob, tremendous job on the part of Alan Gaines. I think they're going to go ahead and measure him and give him a distance. I don't think that they're going to see anybody in the pull-off situation tonight with these motors. Alan doing a great job all the way down. I thought he was a little heavy on the nose, but I'll tell you what, it didn't show in the end result. Let's see how he does. Doesn't waste too much time. He rolls with the sled just a short while before he eases into the big blower motor. Now he's wide open. He's picking the tires up a little bit. They're just, the balance on it actually looks just about right. Kind of tapping the ground 2 or 3 times as he goes down the track. Alan Gaines doing a super job, really handling the horsepower well. Not a lot of ground speed, but still he's got enough of it to put him out in the lead.
Well, as I told you, Mike, that's going to be an awfully tough truck to beat. Look at that, 163 feet 1 inch.
That's true, Bob, but I feel like there's one other truck here tonight that's got the capabilities of going past that 163 feet and 1 inch mark. I feel like there's another truck in this competition we're going to see that could very well go past the Orange Blossom Special. We'll have to wait and see, and I'll point the truck out to you in a little bit.
Telstar, Bob Bauman. Bauman family in it again.
Carry a total of 3 vehicles. This is their 2-wheel drive. It's a little S15 GMC Ranger. Big supercharged 572 cubic inch motor under the hood. It's really tough. Built a lot different than most of them, as it sits quite a bit lower to the ground than most of the 2-wheel drives. Let's watch Bob. Mark to beat a 163 and 1.
Mighty close, Mike Gallaway.
His rear tires ended up in the exact location that the Orange Blossom Special tires sunk. So he is going to be super close to the mark laid down by Alan Gaines. It's definitely one of those deals that you're going to have to wait on a measurement.
Was that the truck you're talking about?
I still think there's another truck that can pull this out.
163.1, the mark to beat.
Look at the front end on the truck. Good transfer, good bite all the way down. Bob is really hooked up well. Right in here's the mark that Alan Gaines. There's where Alan went down just a moment ago. And that's where Bob kind of settles in tonight. Let's wait on that measurement. They're close.
60-75. Well, look at that. Telstar, 167 feet, 5 1/4 inches. So Telstar has surged to the lead. Bill Romsberg, Alberton, PA is home for him, and this is the rice burner.
1987 Toyota. Big block Chevrolet under the hood. Very fine running truck. This truck, this winter, has really came out and ran hard. He is a top contender right now for the points in this race in the 2-wheel drive class. Slacks out of the chain. Beautiful truck all the way around. Let's see if he can go past the 167 5 1/4 mark. Just couldn't get a hole shot to launch the truck. Couldn't get enough to really get in it hard enough on the starting line to go with. Watch him roll the sled. Not in the motor yet, just breaking the tires loose, still easing into the engine. He may have held back a little bit too long before he got into it hard enough to light the tires up, and that could be the downfall on this pull for the rice burner. A good run, but I think he hesitated just a little bit too long on the starting line area. Balance on it looks good. The front end just kind of floating along, and that's the way you want it. That's the way you want to keep it. Digs down real deep on the end.
And for the Riceburger, 148 feet, 7.5 inches.
Look at this. Neat machine.
Mike, you have it. There's only one truck left. This is Garth Invader. This must have been the truck you were talking about.
I think this truck possibly can do it. It's a 1987 Chevrolet Aerostar. It's built, driven by George Stinnett out of Grand Blanc, Michigan. The 572 cubic inch Chevrolet motor. Set up a little bit different. I believe this truck's got the capability. Now, he spotted the sled a little bit different. He's got the truck headed to the right-hand side of the track. Let's see if it all works out tonight. The Darth Invader, beautiful truck. Just as pretty on the inside as it is on the outside. Beautiful truck.
167 feet, 5.25 inches.
That's the Martin beat. That's almost out of the stadium, so let's see. He's got a real tough, there's a soft spot on the track at about 40 feet in there. Real soft spot there.
Didn't make it.
Just could not do it. The track is rutted up so bad that there wasn't any traction left for George. Not taking anything away from Bob Bauman. He read the track well. He handled his vehicle well. And he geared it for that situation. Let's watch it where he runs into problems. Now, right in here, you're going to see that soft spot in the track. Tires just really do not ever get a hold of the track at all. George doesn't get any tire speed, and the track is too soft for him. He can't get up on top of it and run the way he should. Good job. Just couldn't make a full pull tonight.
So Telstar is the winner, 167 feet, 5.25 inches. Bob Bauman will be crowned winner champion here in Hartford, Connecticut.
Bob and Pam, they deserve a win. Always, they work hard at this sport, and as we mentioned, a beautiful job on the part of Bob. He really had the truck dialed into it.
Was it a child's play gone haywire?
Way around the circuit, we've seen a lot of great action. Some of it comes out just the way it's supposed to, and some of it obviously doesn't. Watch this.
But watch this, the Duraliner Giant. I don't think he'll show any mercy. He wants to win this one for the company. Here he goes. Lines up, gets back in shape. He's got to get the front tires up on the cars and off the cars. Here we go. Watch out, watch out. Broke the front tire off of it right here in front of me. He has just destroyed the left front tire. Kurt Dabney has broken the left front tire as it went up in the air and crashed. And look over there on the other side. Look to the other side. The Heartbeat of America has just drove a rear axle out from under that truck. We've got monster trucks laying everywhere tonight. Probably the most powerful four-wheel drive pulling truck in America, the Bud Boss Twin-Blown Timmy.
Was there ever a doubt? The Bud Boss pulls the sled from one end of the Civic Arena to the other.
Fred Schaefer's going to make the swing. The toys cut off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, upside down. Fred Schaefer has just flipped barefoot. Let's hope he's all right. Fred's out of the car. Fred's out of the truck right there. Fred.
Great to see that he's all right.
Right there, tires bit in, and Fred goes right over on the lid and rolls on over on the top of it.
Generally, the main event of the evening, the Budweiser Boss, driven by Gary Collins. A very powerful machine. We saw this thing grab just about running right through the wall outside Anaheim Stadium and right on down the freeway to San Diego last winter.
Gary Collins sitting inside like he's got a rider with him. But this is an unbelievable truck. Twin-blown Hemi, pumping out about 1,700 horsepower piece, four-wheel drive. When he goes all the way. Parks it right out.
Way to Boston.
He really was. And you notice, Bob, I don't know whether you noticed or not, but he rolled along the track, just kind of piddling along. Got down towards the end. He thought the box was getting heavy. We better go on.
Yeah, you get the idea. He'd go right out the rear end of this arena and drive it all the way home to El Dorado Springs, assuming he could fuel it.
That's correct. Let's watch him. He's got a good hook, and everything's going along pretty good. Gary just looks like he's along for the ride. The weight box is just rocketing up the ramp, transferring the weight over, making it pull so hard.
Talk about fuel. 1 mile, 68 gallons of fuel.
Not exactly.
Not enough to get back to El Dorado Springs.
Right there on the end, mash the throttle, take it right out of the gate. Good job, Gary Collins. Tremendous work.
Here
Come the monster trucks. This is Bigfoot. Gene Patterson is driving tonight. Jim Kramer is here, but Gene Patterson is behind the wheel.
Gene's been driving for quite some time. He's an excellent driver. Kramer's taking a little time off, letting some injuries heal up a little bit. Watch this young man when he attacks the cars. He does attack. Straight up in the air, and I mean over it in style. I thought, Bob Kurtz, that he had just about gone through the roof. Looked like he launched a blue missile. Straight up in the air when he hit the car.
Now we have a local radio station here in Hartford that has sponsored a contest to get some records crushed. Music that they did not care for, so the records are also in among all the debris. And Gene Patterson will make another run at them.
There's some of the records that some of the people were not too excited about. Gene Patterson doing in some of Connecticut's finest used automobiles. Let's hope they're used. Very tight arena, Bob. Not a lot of room to maneuver the trucks around, and having a little bit of difficulty getting them all lined up and getting any kind of a run at the cars. But watch this young man when he attacks. He's liable to go all the way over the cars. He got 4 of them, and he could very well fly the whole 4. Got all the safety equipment. He wears a kidney belt. He wears the neck brace, roll cage inside. Watch him. Watch him. Flies over the top of them, destroying the car straight up in the air. Outstanding job, but Bob Kurtz, he was so high when he hit those cars, it was unbelievable.
Many times as you see this show, you're always amazed at the awesome power of that vehicle when you actually are able to be here and see it in person.
Not only the power on it, but you know, they honestly beat this truck. They put it in every kind of test you can imagine, and watch him. It always comes off on top, just flying the colors high. Hit
Smash and then way up in the air.
Look at that. Look how high it got before it landed, just barely catching the edge of that car. Gene taking a beating on the inside, but Gene's into it. He really enjoyed it.
Gary Bauer is the driver. Here's the Lone Ranger.
He's out of Ohio. It's a supercharged Ford on a little Ford Ranger. Each tire and wheel probably weighing over 1,200. But watch this young man. He's going after him. Look out. Flying off to the left-hand side. He almost turned it over, but immediately jumped on the throttle. Had to get out of that situation and get it back up on all 4s. A fine job of driving for that young man.
Almost lost it. That's how you recover those things?
You've got to stay on the throttle when they land. You've got to nail the throttle, make them pull themselves out of any kind of problem it would be in. Gary working it around. Now he'll come back to the cars going the other direction. He'll probably line up a little bit closer to the edge. He doesn't want him to get up there and let it drift over to the side like it did on the previous jump. Little Ford Ranger setting up atop those gigantic tires. Watch him. He's got all the speed. He's ready for it. Hits the cars and runs with them. And I believe he just, nope, jumped out of gear for a moment. That's all it did. Little backup wheelie. Thought Gary had broken a transmission when he landed, but it jumped out of gear. The transfer case must have jumped out of gear. There's a good shot of the planetary gears. That takes a load off the center portion of the axle.
Next is the Giant, Kurt Dabney, the driver.
Look at that! Look at that! He just really launched it when he hit the cars on the throttle hard. Dabney doing a great job, and when he hit the cars, and he's going to do backup, and there is, seems like some problems maybe with the front end, because when Bob Kurtz, when he hit that, the rear tires were spinning, but the front tires weren't spinning at all. He's just destroying them, but he's doing it all with rear-wheel drive only. The front axle has snapped in two, and he has no front-wheel drive. He has no front-wheel drive. He does an excellent job on the rear wheels only. Let's watch on this first pass and see when he hits the cars, if he hits the cars in four-wheel drive or does it in two. Hits the cars, nails the throttle real hard, all the way up in the air. The flash buttons go off. Right there is when he snapped the front end on it and lost all of the front axle drive area. But he just had to do the rear wheels on two-wheel drive only. A good job for the Giant.
Mike, what have we here?
Bob Kurtz, it's half tank and half truck. But watch it when it hits the cars. Never slows down. Runs a military tank setup, a supercharged Chevrolet in it. It's unbelievably maneuverable. Runs about 40 miles an hour. It's probably one of the quickest you'll ever see. And he actually just cuts the cars in two. Not only does he crush them, he can just honestly destroy them in that tank vehicle. It weighs 22,000 pounds. That's where you're getting the awesome destruction from the Virginia Beach Beast. Donnie Kessel driving the Virginia Beach Beast, the big supercharged Chevrolet motor tucked back in the back of it, hooks to an automatic transmission and then goes into the tank drive line, and he not only drives over them, he drives through them. What a way to finish.
The Virginia Beach in the foot of Bob Kurtz and the Ford Budweiser U.S. Hot Rod Association Truck Pull Winter Championships featuring the Battle of the Monster Trucks has been brought to you by